So for the people who are depressed and who find it hard to get out of the bed or just do daily tasks, to whom everything just seems pointless and meaningless to even do anything, what can we say? How should they deal with sadness or apathy, and when there is no spark to initiate anything?
If we are going to feel motivated at all, that is, if we are going to wake up in the morning or have any period of time during our day in which we feel like we are capable of pursuing goals, we are going to have a healthy level of baseline dopamine. In other words, we are going to have enough dopamine in the wave pool, enough water in the wave pool, that is, before we can generate any waves or peaks in dopamine, let alone troughs and the rest. So how do we achieve a healthy baseline level of dopamine? Well, there we can really look to some foundational practices that perhaps you've heard about on this podcast before, and that to some of you might seem a little mundane, although some of them are a bit more sophisticated, maybe even esoteric. The good news is that we can all control these things, and they don't require purchasing anything, but they do require some degree of regular upkeep and effort. Those things include what I call the very basics. Now, the very basics, put in the context of today's discussion, are the things that put water in the wave pool. Those are going to be getting sufficient amounts of quality sleep each night. Getting sufficient sleep each night literally restores your dopamine reserves. It allows dopamine to be present and for you to have a level of baseline dopamine that will allow you to even consider your goals in any kind of meaningful or reasonable way. Second, there are practices that are supported by the scientific literature to increase your baseline level of dopamine that are independent of sleep.
Yes. Like meditation, a practice celebrated for enhancing focus and mental clarity also plays a pivotal role in reducing stress and increasing emotional well-being. It's a cornerstone for those seeking a tranquil mind amidst the chaos of daily life. Yet when we delve into the science of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation, the effects of traditional meditation take on a different light. Scientific research indicates that while meditation enriches our mental health and cognitive abilities, it doesn't necessarily boost dopamine levels.
Meditation itself is a focusing exercise. It is not known to increase dopamine. However, non-sleep deep rest, so-called NSDR, very similar, although different to what's sometimes called yoga nidra.
Yes. Non-sleep deep rest NSDR refers to a set of practices designed to induce deep relaxation and restfulness without falling asleep. These techniques aim to reduce stress, enhance focus, and promote mental and physical recovery by tapping into the body's natural relaxation responses. NSDR can include guided relaxation, deep breathing exercises, and forms of yoga nidra, where you lie down in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and follow a guided pre-recorded soundtrack that helps you focus on different parts of the body in succession. This process encourages a state of deep relaxation while maintaining a level of awareness. To practice NSDR, find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed, lie down or sit comfortably, and engage in a guided session, focusing on your breath and the sensations in your body, allowing yourself to reach a state of profound restfulness. You can find these guided NSDR sessions by searching on YouTube.
Those have been shown to increase the amount of dopamine in your dopamine reserves by up to 65%, which is a remarkable number. So quality sleep, non-sleep deep rest, aka yoga nidra, very powerful ways to keep your baseline level of dopamine at a sufficient level. In addition to that, nutrition no doubt plays a role in your baseline level of dopamine because tyrosine, the amino acid, is the rate-limiting enzyme for the synthesis of dopamine. Tyrosine is present in varying levels in different foods. You can look those up online. You just simply put in a search for tyrosine levels in different foods, everything from particular cheeses like Parmesan cheese has high levels of tyrosine, certain meats, certain nuts, certain vegetables. Without getting into details and specifics, you can find those there. But you need proper nutrition and therefore nutrients, in particular tyrosine, in order to have sufficient levels of baseline dopamine. The third thing is sunlight, morning sunlight in particular. But you want to try and view sunlight as early in the day as possible. 5 to 10 minutes on a clear day, minimum. 10 to 20 minutes on a cloudy day, minimum. 20 or 30 minutes on a very overcast day, minimum. Without sunglasses, don't stare at the sun. Please don't damage your eyes. Look off slightly off from the sun, but yes, you want to face eastward towards the sun. And on those cloudy days, that's especially important to do. Why? Well, viewing morning sunlight increases cortisol early in the day, which is excellent because you want cortisol elevated early in the day and you want it lower later in the day. And because of the relationship between the cells in your eye that sense sunlight, specifically morning sunlight, believe it or not, that happens, and signal to your hypothalamus, and the relationship between the hypothalamus and the pituitary and other endocrine organs, it sets in motion a dopamine-related cascade in neuromodulators, dopamine, and hormones that lead to states of well-being, elevated mood, alertness, etc. throughout the day. It also helps your sleep at night, but today we're talking about dopamine. So yes, believe it or not, that morning sunlight exposure does increase your levels of dopamine, not just cortisol. And fourth on the list is going to be movement, exercise of varying kinds. It could be resistance training, it could be cardiovascular training. That does increase levels of dopamine. Things that I just mentioned a few moments ago, every 24 hours, or at least strive to. There is no escaping that.
Exactly. So beyond the solitude of personal practices, the joy of social interaction plays a crucial role in elevating our dopamine levels and combating depression. Engaging with friends, family, and even pets not only fills our emotional cup, but also chemically enriches our brains, fostering a sense of belonging and happiness. But it needs to be a real-life interaction to stimulate your senses, not the artificial online social interaction. Moreover, the intimacy and connection found in romantic relationships bring their own set of benefits. Having a partner and engaging in sexual activity are not just fundamental human experiences, they're also backed by science as effective ways to boost mood and overall mental well-being. These deeply human connections and experiences release a cascade of positive neurotransmitters, including dopamine, that combat feelings of depression and elevate our sense of joy and satisfaction. Let's embrace these fundamentals, not as chores, but as gifts to ourselves. Gifts that empower us, fuel our passions, and drive us towards achieving our most cherished goals. Together, we can navigate the complexities of our minds and bodies with knowledge, compassion, and a renewed sense of purpose. And all these things that we discussed today are just things that we are designed to do. During these hard times and artificial environments, it really comes down to being a human being aligned with what human beings are built for by nature.